Please join me in welcoming to the stage our senior orator, Abigail Renee Mihaly. Abby Mihaly is an impressive person. Impressive in person as she is on paper. Bright, thoughtful, diligent, friendly, and determined. She has made the most of everything NMH has to offer, excelling in every area of school life as a scholar, athlete, leader, social entrepreneur, and Votes Project anchor. A fine violinist, Abby has also anchored our symphony orchestra for 4 years, served as editor-in-chief of the Hermonite, and immersed herself in NMH's experiences abroad to both Brazil and Uruguay. Her passions run as deep as they are broad, and she has become a strong campus leader who has enriched our community with her many strengths and with her devotion to living, learning, growing, and striving for excellence. Abby will attend Dartmouth College next year. Abby.
It is hard, looking out into these rows of parents, teachers, and friends, to remember that when I first stepped onto this campus, NMH did not feel like home. When we came to NMH 1, 2, 3, or even 4 years ago, we were overwhelmed by everything new. Those of you from cities were amazed by the tall trees and open fields as your parents parked their cars outside your new dorms, and of the vast starry sky as you lay looking out your window that first night in your new bed. Those of us from the countryside were intrigued by the stories told by our new roommate from New York City, and we were surprised by the many languages spoken as we sat in our dorm lounges that first evening. We were unaccustomed to feeling so alone as we waved goodbye to our parents and tried to get some sleep before our first day of school. We experienced a sort of culture shock in the beginning of our time at this school on a hill. We were all in awe of whatever was new to us, though perhaps we weren't yet able to put it into so many words. Soon, we adjusted. Within a week, I had made friends with the girl living across the hall. I got used to hearing languages I didn't recognize, and perhaps most important, though I would never go to like them, I got used to boat shoes. Now, today, this many years later, we share a complicated definition of home. Many of us live hours from our childhood houses, some of us plane rides from the countries on our passports, and though I myself live only a few hours north and am often reminded by my rural home by the scent of the cows on the campus farm when the wind blows a certain direction, this place truly feels worlds away. So I, like so many of us, have a split definition of home. The word home is often used casually, meaning nothing more than the place in which we live. But I don't call this place home because I address my Amazon packages to Lamplighter Way. I call this place home because the girls in my dorm and on my team feel more like family than friends. I call this place home because Bill from the kitchen knows my egg order before I even make it to the counter in the morning. I call this place home because as I sit around the dinner table sipping tea long after everyone has bussed their plates, there's nowhere I'd feel more comfortable. But home is about more than familiarity. We do not call a place home if we cannot feel vulnerable in it. As we grow up here, amid the pressure and stress and long sleepless nights, there are bound to be moments in which our walls come down. I am not someone who shares my emotions easily, and it wasn't until sophomore year that some of my closest friends saw me cry. But as my first year became my second, and my second blurred into a third and then a fourth, I felt increasingly as if this place was mine. And with this feeling of security comes an ability to be vulnerable. The sight of a 72 circled in the corner of my pre-calc midterm had me feeling pretty defenseless. And that day, yes, there were tears, and like many of us when we get a bad grade, I blamed the teacher. But once my frustration calmed, I found something else. That as soon as I was willing to reach out, I found support from my teacher, from math help, from my dorm faculty, and from my friends. This was a common refrain. I came across love and encouragement in almost every corner of this campus once I learned how to look for it. As the years passed, I became okay with showing not only my best self, but also my whole self. Perhaps the truest mark of my growth here was the first time I admitted to my best friend that I needed her help calling my coach and asking for the day off from practice. The third year became my fourth, and fall became spring. By the time I asked a girl to be my date to prom, I no longer felt scared of what people might think. At the time, each of our individual experiences seem a much bigger deal than they turn out to be. We only see as far as whatever big thing happened today, whatever made us laugh or cry or smile. But as the last weeks of our NMH career passed and the clock seemed to speed faster and faster towards the finish line, it became clear how small each of these moments are. One of my closest friends here cannot look at the stars at night. She says it makes her think too much. I, on the other hand, have spent many a night laying out on the grass looking up, and she's right, it does make you think a lot. As much of a cliche as it is, the cosmos makes you realize how small you are. I've been doing a lot of stargazing these last few weeks, and everything, all those times I grew up a little more on this campus, is starting to feel microscopic in the grand scheme of it all. Today is the last time that all of us, parents, teachers, dorm heads, coaches, and all 188 seniors will be sitting under the same roof. And I cannot deny that here, in these 4 years, this community has embraced me, and for that, I'm thankful. To my teachers for their extensive knowledge and infectious curiosity, to my dorm faculty for late-night musings in the lounge about everything under the sun, to my own freshman RLs 4 years ago and all those graduating classes before ours who continue to be among the people I strive to be like when I am grown, whenever that may be. And to all of my peers, for the millions of tiny moments that make this place and this experience what it has been. It is all of this that makes me most thankful my parents had enough confidence in me to ship me off to this little school on a hill 4 years ago. To borrow from my sister Elena's middle school graduation address, we are like goldfish being brought home from a fair in a plastic bag, allowed to grow only when we are moved to a larger container. When our parents drove us hours away from our childhood houses and allowed us to board buses and planes, they moved us into that first fishbowl. But as we enter the next phase of our lives, we are transferred yet again to another bowl. I'm conflicted in my feelings towards this transplantation. I've grown comfortable among the fields and bricks of this campus, but it is at this moment of comfort that it becomes necessary to move to a larger fishbowl. For all of us, our relationship with this place is complicated. Many of you are more than ready to move on, but there are some things we'll never let go of. The smell of the first days of spring as the snow finally melts for the last time. The sound of Craig Sanford's voice calling cookies down the hall as he makes his dorm rounds before midterms and finals. The taste of the dining hall's infamous chocolate chip muffins. Awkward Valentine's Day a cappella serenades. New calves on the farm. The chapel clock. Late night milkshakes. And if there's one thing I'll never be able to give up, it's a good view of the stars. No matter how necessary, it's going to be hard to leave home. Thank you.